How many days do I have? I already lost count. Today is 41 days of your dry fast. Well, nothing. As you can see, I'm alive. This man is called Sat Marga, and he is one of the most influential dry fasting practitioners in Russia. Here were 40 planks. You've already dragged half. Sat Marga lives in a forest in Karelia, located between the Finnish border and St. Petersburg. The last plank remains. Each plank weighs more than 28 kilos. Well, 40 planks is a little over 700 kilos. And in a short time, let's say it took about an hour and a half. Well, with breaks. And apart from the weight of the plank, you have to fight against the wind, since the wind sometimes blows so hard that it seems that it will take me with the plank. That's it. The last plank. A strong wind from the north blows me away along with the planks. It is that I became very light in fasting. And here nobody drink tea or coffee, don't smoke or eat. Although it feels like the heart is pounding, but on the other hand, the mood is very cheerful. Therefore, you do not lie down or sit for a long time in a dry fast. Sat Marga is moving the insulating glass up to the second floor. It is not a light thing. Today marks the 51st day of my dry fast, and I have already begun the exit process. In the morning I drank birch sap, which dripped directly from the tree, and now I am preparing an ice hole, which I already began to cut earlier, but I did not have enough strength. Now I am hitting little by little with more powerful tools. One piece broke. It's been getting pretty thick ice around here. It probably won't be that easy. What goes to the sea? And now the next piece. I have a perfectly healthy body. I do not complain about anything. Maybe that's why I do such long dry fasts. It seems that you have to break it into parts. Coming out of the dry fast is a very important part. Wrong coming out can hurt the body. I come out of fasting by drinking warm water from a glass of 200 milligrams. I take a small sip, and I divide this little sip into several more sips. Let's say it is not swallowed altogether, but dissolved so that the water passes slowly. It is advisable to drink the first glass slowly over about 10 to 15 minutes. After you have drunk the first glass in an hour, you can drink the second glass, also slowly, little by little. The first day, you only drink water. The digestion process begins, since in a dry fast digestion is completely absent. Look at the swans. When you are on a water fast, the water is absorbed, and this can be called the digestion process. In a dry fast, fluid also partially enters the intestines. This is their saliva, lymph, but this is in a very small amount. That is why, on the first day of coming out of the dry fast, we drink water slowly and little by little, about 1.5 liters for the whole day. We're not used to going backwards, I became very light in this fast. The next day, you can make a liquid smoothie. Go, go, go. It's already gone. It is desirable that this smoothie is not too rich in taste and very liquid. Otherwise, if you feel a strong taste, you may not stop and drink it all in one gulp. For example, I recommend making kale smoothies. Well, this one stays. Well, the bath for ablution is ready. It was quite cold tonight. All the iron is frozen. It sticks a bit to the hands. Well, it's time to get in the water for the first time in so many days. Lifetime. Wonderful. Now the body is absorbing everything. Marvelous. The water is so clear and cold and alive, like everything on this planet.
I'll be back.
So when we are eating, this is quite an energy-consuming process, and to replenish energy after eating, normally people want to relax, even sleep. When we fast, this energy is not wasted and the body reboots this unspent energy for cleansing and healing. It is also very important to understand that when we do a dry fast, our body is renewing itself. And it is very important that this process takes place in peace and acceptance. Because if we fast and stress at the same time, the process will be exactly the opposite. Let's say it will be destructive. Because when we're stressed, we have an abundant release of all kinds of hormones that we don't need while fasting. And then the body starts to eat these hormones. In fact, we begin to feed on poisons, our negative toxic states, and their secretions. And we must understand that up to 3 days of dry fasting for one person is practically nothing. Since for 3 days in any body there are enough resources to live quietly and the deep healing processes have not yet begun. However, those first 2 to 3 days are the most difficult because you still have the habit of chewing or consuming something, and this can cause stress. But we will simply replace these tensions with meditations, walks, dynamic meditations, talks. It is important that in a dry fast, the most positive state possible is always maintained. Dear friends, before starting the practice of dry fasting, it's essential to be very cautious. Take the time to carefully study all aspects of the theory and practice of, to ensure proper preparation. You can begin your introduction to this practice through the link provided below this video. If you have never practiced fasting or followed a fruitarian or raw vegan diet before, it's important to understand that gradual adaptation is key. Just as learning to play a new musical instrument requires time and practice, dry fasting also necessitates a step-by-step approach starting with the basics. It's also worth noting that Sat Marga began practicing dry fasting more than 10 years ago before achieving a 50-day dry fast. Be patient, attentive to your body, and mindful of your inner state, as this can be compared to a serious procedure, though without surgical intervention. Remember that there is a risk of harming your health, potentially leading to fatal consequences. So exercise caution and responsibility at every stage.